Hi, welcome to another episode of From Scene to Cinema. I'm your host, Darius Dawson, and today I'm going to be breaking down another scene for you. So, what I'm showing you today comes from a film that I shot last summer in Shanghai, China. It's called The Kite and the Pushpin, one of my buddies from NYU. It was his thesis film. So he flew me in and we just rocked it out, had a good time. It was great to see them. I hadn't seen him since the last time I shot for him in a little village outside of Shanghai. This time we're actually in the city, so it was a little bit more. It was easier than the last one. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So as always, the scene that I'm showing you isn't the full scene. It's just a couple clips, some of the shots that went into the scene. And I just kind of want to talk about my lighting breakdown a little bit and why I made those decisions, artistically, how it relates to the story and everything. So, if you can't tell from this cut that I've kind of put together, it is a period film. One of the it happens in the early 2000s, kind of like the 90s in Shanghai, and basically it's about a boy who's from a rural region. His family's moved into Shanghai to give him a better chance, better education, and everything. And it's a little bit about regional discrimination. It's about growing up. It's about what does it mean to be Chinese. It's so much stuff, and that's what really attracted me to the story. So one of the reference films that the director sent me was Shanghai Triad. And the first thing that I realized about that film was that it's a lot of hard light, but then also there's a lot of diffusion in the way of there's like haze, there's smoke, there's fog. A lot of that goes on because Shanghai, China in general, is a very kind of foggy, smoky kind of place. Not just because of pollution, but it's just so many people smoke there. So there's always kind of this smoke kind of haze, in a lot of places that you go. So I'll talk about that a little bit. So we weren't able to get a fog machine. I'm not exactly. I don't exactly remember why. It was last summer, so I remember most of it, but some of it's kind of foggy. So we tried incense that they use a lot of times for ritual ceremonies, and we just kind of would go throughout the room and try that out, and that worked pretty well to kind of give us the haze that we wanted. And then what I tried with my gaffer, Chin Lee, another guy who I shoot for often, was placing lights in a particular way where we would get like a little bit of flare. And basically what happens is, as you can see from the one scene where the teacher is looking at our protagonist there, we've got a little bit of a flare we got a little bit of flare in the lens, and that's kind of softening, it's softening the contrast, softening the image, and it gives us that look, that kind of like dated kind of look that we were going for. I'm going to talk a bit about the lighting. It's very interesting. It's probably one of my... I love this lighting experience. So, I only had about 3 or 4 lights. So I had, I believe it was 2 10Ks, 1 5K, and then like 2, I don't know, whether like 800 watt blonde, blondie open faces. So it's like I've got to light this entire film pretty much with, and I think, you know what? It was 3 open faces, and I think like 2 of them ended up not working because it's China. But so I've got to pretty much light this whole film with 2 10Ks and a 5K, and it's like I'm lighting in tight spaces with like a 10K. It was just crazy. So so since my lighting package was so small, and the director really has a penchant for hard lighting, I had to figure out how to get the most I can out of these single sources. So if you look at the master classroom shot, there's hard lighting on the students. It's diffused a little bit because I am the 5Ks and 10Ks. They are Fresnel, so it's fairly soft, but they're pretty big lights and they're fairly close. It's fairly hard lighting on their faces, but then above them, it appears to be like a little bit of a kind of misty kind of haze thing going on. And basically, what I did was I took outside of each window, I took a frame, and I would, like you have a frame, say it's like, they were fairly big, but say you have a 4x4 frame for the top part, so like 2 feet and up, I would put diffusion, something like 216, which is a fairly heavy diffusion, and I would diffuse a light in the top. So basically, we got all that kind of scattered light, kind of haze going on at the top, and then at the bottom, the frame would be empty, and that would give us the hard light that we wanted to hit the faces. So what I would do is I would take the light up above the window, point it down, and then put my frame, at an angle so that it kind of, lights the way that I wanted. I think in the back, there's like tree patterns in the back. I think I might have taken like a cucaloris, or I might have used like actual trees, and I took one of those 800 open faces and kind of create that pattern just to give like some interesting kind of texture to the scene. But that technique with like the half frame thing where I'm getting like basically two types of light out of the same source, I learned that from the girl with the dragon tattoo, the original version. I think it's is it Danish? I don't quite remember if it's Danish or Swedish, but he did a similar thing because those films, they had a good budget, but it's still like you kind of want to try to be as efficient as you can with your money. So I basically had no other choice. So my guys, who were great, I had about 2 grips, and then my other classmate Chinley, who was a gaffer, and these guys are so fast, it's crazy. But I was like, hey, we've got to figure out how to like make these basically 3 lights, stretch for this whole thing. So yeah, and then as we get into the other coverage, we would just like bounce the lights around, either move them out of frame or put them in a position where we would get something like that flare that you see in that nice teacher protagonist double. For the teacher, I did typical kind of beauty lighting that you do a lot of times for women, softer kind of diffused light, and I think I really love being able to travel and light different types of faces because Chinese faces handles light differently. So it was we had some people who were more rural, who had more angular faces, and then we had people who were from the city, maybe flatter faces. It was just like I had the whole gamut of different types of features, like Chinese features. So I had a really good time on this one. So yeah, and you guys can scrub back through and check out the lighting breakdowns and kind of see where I did what. If you're more interested in seeing how to make your lighting sources stretch. And I guess that's what this episode has mainly been about, is like working with a smaller package, which a lot of us are as indie filmmakers, and just seeing how to get the job done. I guess an update on my film Downstream that I'm currently working on. I've been having Skype meetings with my with my actors like every couple of days, and I'm about to have a table read with them in I think 2 days actually here. I've been testing out a couple like the tattoos and some of the other stuff. If you can see, I don't know if you guys noticed that one. It's kind of rough right now. I just kind of put it on. We're seeing it's kind of peeling like a real tattoo, kind of, I think, or maybe I'm ashy. It could be one of the two. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer. And I'm really excited to bring this next film to you and kind of get into some of the on-set stuff with that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things. I'm gonna leave it mysterious, for you guys to see. That was really lame. But I think that does it for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on all your various social media apparatus, whatever. And yeah, until next time. Thanks again.